Hi, Stampers! Oh, it's good to see you. My name's Kelly. I'm from Stamping with Kelly, and I'm so glad to be joining you. It is right now 9:38 on Tuesday, December 14th, and I'm coming to you recorded because we had such horrible internet earlier tonight that nothing would come through. And I will confirm that it is the internet that is the problem. And we tried to do a video chat with my husband who's at work, and it cut out 4 times, which that never happens. And then also it was just really blurry the rest of the time. My husband was trying to read my 5-year-old son his bedtime story, and he just kept saying like, "Mom, fix it, it's so blurry, what's going on, I can't even see the picture." I said, "I'm sorry, honey, like that's just how tonight is going for us." So I'm in Edmonton, Alberta. You might be joining me from around the world. Will you just write in the comments where you're joining me from? Many of you will be Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Some of you I know Fort McMurray. Some of you in other provinces like Saskatchewan, BC. I know in Ontario too. So I am welcoming everyone from Canada, from Edmonton, from around the world, wherever you're at. Please just write in the comments. I know we're not live, but get ready for it because it's going to be high definition, and you're going to see how much the quality goes down when Facebook gets its hands on the videos. So anyways, I'm so glad that you're joining me. Thank you so much. This is our last club night of the year. My clubs run from January to June and from July until December, and there's such a fantastic opportunity to set aside some time for crafting for yourself. Crafting, stamping is like therapy, and so it's good for the heart, it's good for the soul, and it's good for the eyes and motor control as well. All these good things, but also it's good when you give your hand stamped gifts to somebody who you love and they really feel that love. I'm sorry. I get Christmas newsletters emailed to me from family and friends, and although I love that, it's not something that I print off and I keep and think about over the holiday season when I'm looking at a hand stamped card that was made by one of my friends who was mailing it to me with a message inside. It's really, truly special what we do, and it really has the power to brighten someone's day. So please get your cards out there to people who you love, and have fun crafting them too, of course. With my club, we meet once a month on the third Monday and Tuesday of the month, usually, except for in December, because we move it forward a week, and that's to give you a little bit more time around Christmas. So we're coming a little bit earlier this month, and then we'll have a little bit more of a break. We're going to start up again in January with my next round of clubs, and I want to invite you all, anybody from across Canada who wants to be a part of my club. It is a fantastic way to get the know-how and learn new techniques and exposure to different supplies. I always feature different supplies on each card every month, and but it also gives you a chance to order products and get the benefits yourself. So Stampin' Up! Has a program called the Host Rewards Program, and that would only be available to you as a single customer order if you purchase at least $200 of product at once. What my club does is takes that $200 minimum and spreads it over 6 months. So instead of having to spend it all at once to get the 10% minimum reward, so starting at $20 and going up from there, my club members often will get hundreds of dollars, and they will get 50% off items too. So how they're doing that is any order that they place through me in that 6-month period gets added to their club running total. And by the end of it, they could be earning 16% of whatever that they have spent over the 6 months, and a 50% off item as well. So it's fantastic for those people who have a really long wish list and who really want to get a whole bunch of stuff. And you're going to get the products or the projects too for club. So what you'll receive from me is a little packet, and I'll show you it in a bit, but a little packet that includes all the supplies that you will need to make 3 cards. And if you pick up your projects from me, instead of spending my budget on postage, I get to get more products or projects in your hands. So what I do is I actually include an extra project for you to create when you pick up from my house in South Edmonton. You can also have this shipped to you if you want. That's just a little bit extra for the postage. So let me know if you're across Canada. I can mail anywhere. And if you're in Edmonton, you can get that extra card if you want to swing by my place by South Edmonton Common, once a month. So anyways, over the 6 months, again, you can get those amazing host benefits. It's definitely going to be at least $20 for free one of those months, but it could be upwards of $100 or even more than that you can spend on whatever you want from the current catalog. So let me know if you want to be a club member. So how do you become a member? You just let me know. You can send me an email or message, however you want to communicate to me, even a text. And let me know that you want to be a part for 6 months. The commitment is that you spend at least $35 minimum each month. And again, whatever you spend over that 6-month period, then that will go towards your host benefits that round. Okay. Next round is January to June, so that's what you want to keep in mind. It's such a good deal. You can also purchase these kits. They are $20 if you want to drop in from month to month, and that's to get the supplies. Again, a much better deal is to just place an order for a minimum of $35 of product and then receive your club cards for free. But if you want to go this route, you can definitely do that. So it's $20 drop in. Or if you want to prepay for the 6-month duration, you can definitely do that. And that goes down to $15 a month. So it's a much better deal. So let me know if you want to go that route as well. I'm happy to do that. And if you do place an order, whatever month it is, then you would get a credit of the amount that you paid, whether it be $15 or $20. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, reach out to me. I'd be happy to explain it a little bit more. I've been running my clubs for the entire time that I've been a demonstrator, so over 14 years now, and it's my favorite event of the month. I love getting to catch up with my friends and have so much fun crafting together, because you just don't get to do that very often with many people in your life unless it's on your calendar, right? So I figure if you've got this on your calendar every month, then you will definitely get some socializing in, whether it be on the Google Meet that we do on the 3rd Monday of the month, or, kind of a little one-sided, but still interactive with the Facebook Live that I do, usually on the 3rd Tuesday of the month. This month, again, coming to you via recording so that we have some quality and you can actually see what I'm working on here. Thanks, Edmonton weather. I appreciate your snowstorm, conveniently timed so it ruined my internet connection. All right, let's talk a little bit about the specials this month. So every month I have a special giveaway actually with a $100 minimum order. So if you order over $100 this month, you're going to receive this amazing. This is truly one of my favorite packs of designer series paper ever. It's retired. It's called, what is it called? Now, I've talked about all this earlier tonight, so it feels like frost. That's what it's called. I'm just second guessing myself here because it is, getting a little bit later. But I'm happy to say I put the kids to bed and I didn't let cuddling with my son suck me into his bed. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. So, one goes down into the crib and then the other one you read a story in the bed and it's just so cozy and sometimes it sucks you in, but not tonight. Mom's got work to do. So just keep that in mind. $100 minimum ordering special. You'll get it's about a $23 value for that once you factor in the shipping and handling and GST on that regular price. And it's not available from Stampin' Up anymore, so you can only get it from me. Why not get it for free, right? I also want to mention to you, these are last chance products, which are available from our mini catalog, which I have here. Mini catalog. which is only running until January 3rd while supplies last. That's the key. And they're doing things a little bit differently this year. It's while supplies last on everything. It's not just the consumable supplies that are coming over from overseas. So what they're doing this year is even the stamps are running out. So if you want something, please don't delay on it. I hope is still there for you. But you can take a look under a section on my website. So you can go to stampingwithkelly.stampinup.net. So stamping with a G, stampingwithkelly.stampinup.net. And then just head under the last chance heading, and that's going to show you everything that's leaving us. There are some discounts there too, so make sure you take advantage of that. I'm going to showcase some of the products tonight and give you a little run through of what's on sale. Okay, I also have another video that I went through the entire catalog and showed you exactly what was staying, exactly what was coming back in 6 months with our mini catalog in the new year, the holiday one, so starting in July. And then I also tell you what's leaving and what's discounted. So make sure you check out that video too. I really want to remind you again about these 3 full paper pumpkin kits. This is a 3-pack from the springtime of some of my favorite kits, and they're so versatile. They're masculine, they're feminine, they're nature, they're kid themed, they're adult themed, they're fun, they're summer, spring, and of course nature is all year round, right? But this kit is regular, would be about $83, and right now you're just paying $36 plus shipping and GST. I have these in stock, and if you want them, I'd be happy to give them to you. They make great gifts for kids and adults, crafters of all ages, truly. So I normally say about ages 6 and up so that they can have like a really fun stamping experience. But if you have a crafty kid who catches on to this kind of stuff, even as young as 4 would be great. You can see at the bottom there's some fun shaped cards. There's watermelons, popsicles, and rainbows. And then you've got the baseball cards and also the nature cards. This 3-pack comes with a total of 29 cards in it, which is incredible value, but is unfathomable value once you factor in that you get 3 full stamp sets and 3 ink spots too. It's unreal. So if you have a crafter in your life that you would like to, gift to, $13 for an all-inclusive box is pretty incredible. And these boxes make 8 to 12 cards each. So let me know if you want one of these 3-packs. Again, it's just $36 plus GST and shipping. And guess what? It can count towards your club as well. So it's a really good deal. So speaking of paper pumpkin, this is our all-inclusive kit that comes every month. And we always get a little sneak peek. So the one that's going to be the one that you sign up for right now is the Kisses and Hugs paper pumpkin kit. This is available for you to sign up for until January 10th. It's going to ship out mid-January. So January 10th is the cutoff, and then everything ships. And so it usually arrives to my place around the 18th. You can see this one has these beautiful heart-shaped cards that fit into the printed envelopes with that classy gold XOXO pattern. And then there's an add-on, which is sold separately, of these beautiful boxes. I'm obsessed with them. They're about 2 inches by 2 inches. In the video that I saw, that was a sneak peek to demonstrators. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be a perfect little treat box to give to someone who you love. So more details coming on that very soon. But if you want, you can sign up for a prepaid subscription, and that also counts towards club. So if I'm confusing you, please just reach out. I'd be happy to walk you through getting the best value so that you can take advantage of all the special offers. Another paper pumpkin kit that is en route to me right now is this Lots of Pun. This is our December kit. I can't sell it to you until January 11th, but please reach out to me if you want to reserve a kit. This is our little sneak peek. You can see the cute bananas and the cherries. You stamp the faces on them. So the stamp set's going to be really versatile with these happy little faces, which I'm sure you could play with a million other stamps that you own. But also, I'm sure this kit is going to be really cute and very punny. Haha. If you want to get this kit, again, it's not available from Stampin' Up! Right now. It's available from me that you can reserve and then pick up from me in January, okay? All right, and then the last one here, this is kind of a zoomed in photo that I wanted to show you. This is, oh, when was it? October's kit or something like that? This is one of my favorite kits as well because it can be expanded to create, it comes with 10 cards, but it can be expanded to create about 30 cards. It's unreal. And now it's the only way to get this beautiful tree pattern paper because the rest of that designer series paper is sold out from our store. So if you want one of these, I've got refill kits and you would just pair them. You can see the one Noel card. It doesn't need any stamping at all. Those little green trees are stamped in the background there, but I've made the cards without those and I don't find that I miss them. So that's the stamping on that card. You still get the same. And then on the other card, the Merry Christmas is what's stamped. So if you have a little saying set that would work, you can just pop one in there. I can also help you out with selecting something from our current offering to make sure that you can create these cards. Refill kits for Paper Pumpkin are an incredible value at only $13 plus shipping and GST, which works out to about $15 if you're here in Alberta and you're not paying any PST or anything like that. Okay, one more thing to talk about for promotions. Whew! We have our Eden's Garden Suite, which is still hanging around. I can't believe that these haven't sold out. They must have ordered a ton of them because normally these things sell out in a matter of weeks. So this one here is a little bit of a sneak peek. So you can see up at the top there's a stamp set and a die set. And these are available as a bundle and save 10%. These are going to be available in the next catalog too. So coming up on January 4th, actually, there's a new mini catalog that's starting, and you can definitely purchase these from that mini catalog. What you cannot purchase are the 3 items at the bottom there. So the Ever Eden Designer Series paper. This is a 12 by 12 inch paper pack with gold embossing with soft, succulent, and Evening Evergreen is the color. Yeah, Evening Evergreen. And so it's just 3 colors. We're going to use it on a project tonight. And I think you're going to fall in love with it. This is not going to be available in any catalog. It's only during this period. So if you love it, please get it now before it sells out. Also included in this offering is the cotton paper, and that comes in the 2 colors, the 2 coordinating colors too. And we're going to do a fun technique with this that I think you're going to really love. It's a very versatile kind of product, and you can do all kinds of things with it, and it's very textural, which I always like to add on to projects that I work on. The last thing is going to match with anything, any card that you create, or any scrapbook page even, any project. The garden gems are $9.50 and you get so many of them. How many are there? Okay, what does it say? Blah, blah, only while supplies last, around 3 millimeters. Oh, it doesn't say how. Oh, 140 there. I'm reading the small print. Sorry. So 140 of these gems, you get them in 2 shapes, and the circle ones come in 2 different sizes. We're going to use these tonight too. So please don't delay on getting these. If you want them, please get them soon. Now I'm going to take you back here for a second. And since I had to re-record this, I got a chance to get some tea. So ho, 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 Merry Christmas. I'm wearing my festive shirt. Can you guys see that? I'm just talking to a computer right now, but I feel all of you here in my presence. I know you're watching this on the recording because there's nothing going live. So if you don't have a fun festive shirt on or some fancy pajamas or something cozy and makes you happy, just pause it right now and go change into those. This is our Christmas party, so let's hang out together and have fun and get a fun drink to go along with it. Maybe you got some eggnog, maybe you got some wine, or maybe you're having tea like me. I'm just going to show you now what I've given to all of my club members. I love my club members. They're some of my best friends, and I love getting to catch up with them each month. So I mentioned that I have 2 events a month. One of them is a live event where it's interactive, and that's on Google Meet. It's similar to Zoom, and that's on the 3rd Monday of every month. On the 3rd Tuesday of every month, I do a Facebook Live, except for this month. And so I just love getting to catch up with them. I just feel like, we don't get to visit with our friends enough these days. And so it's nice to have it on the calendar. So anyways, as a gift of gratitude, I've prepared a special box for all of my club members this month. Do you want to see what's inside it? Club members are like, we know what's inside it, but I want to tell you everything. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to see is this cute little package that I've done up. I've made these amazing tags for you with one of our kits, and I hope that you'll reuse it. You can peel it off. There's a little bit of Velcro. I tried these Velcro things. Hopefully they stay together for you. But you can definitely peel that off. I'm going to maybe have to use this technique later tonight. But if you want to take off anything with adhesive, just use your heat tool to soften it. And then you should be able to peel it off. So if you did want to use this actually as a tag, you can do that. Or reuse this package. But inside, for my club members, I've included a free gift of my favorite embellishment right now. Those gorgeous garden gems that I was telling you about. So these are the ones that are a limited release, and I hope you have fun playing with these. This is just my gift to you. This is above all of your hostess benefits that you're going to get and all the cards that I prep for you every month, but I just had to say thank you and I love you. Thanks, club members. So with love for you, I'll just quickly show you where these tags come from. This is a kit actually that we had last year, and I've put together many of the cards, but you can see it only uses 3 different sizes of tags. So they're quite big, and I'm sure you would have a stamp set that goes along with them. I do have one more of these kits available. It makes 30 of these gorgeous tags with the gold embossing on there. Can you see that? How pretty is that, right? And they come together so quickly and easily. You can stamp to and from on the back, and then you just stamp your saying on there. So there are 6 different designs, and you make 30 cards total. It doesn't include the stamp set or the ink spot, but it's only $30, down from what was the value I think before. It was around $45 or something. Isn't that pretty? So 'tis the season. So I do have this in stock, and we don't have to wait for it to ship. So if you want, you can, just spend about an hour and crank those out, get a whole bunch of cards done. And isn't this box adorable? So cute. Okay, again, I have one of those left, so let me know if you want it. All right, then the next thing you're going to find, club members, in here is a little packet of cards. This is what my card club members will receive each month, either in the mail or via pickup. It'll be 3 projects, or maybe even more. Sometimes I do. And it includes all the supplies. You just need to do some stamping for your sayings. And I just have, usually tags included that would fit a number of different sayings, and then you can just grab from your collection for a saying that works, and a neutral ink pad. Another product that you might have included in your kit, if you purchased over $100, is the Feels Like Frost Specialty Designer Series paper. I wanted to show this to you because, again, I mentioned before that this is one of my favorite paper packs that Stampin' Up! Has ever released. You can see it's got this gorgeous silver embossing on the pages, and they're just white and silver on one side of all of them. These are 6" by 6", and it comes with 48 sheets in a pack. See all those gorgeous designs? And of course, we know that with anything white, the possibilities are endless because we can add color on top of that white and turn it into whatever color we want, right? Like we can make this beautiful in green, and then that silver would just pop out even more. Stripes, all kinds of patterns. And then when we look to the other side, we've got these gorgeous photorealistic pictures that they have here, and it's all frosty scenes. Look at this one. This is one of my favorites. Isn't that gorgeous? So detailed and so pretty. This is what it looked like in Edmonton today. We did a big shovel this morning. I'm saying we, but it was all me. My son came out halfway through and said, "Are you done yet?" And that was his contribution. Oh, well. Sometimes you can get them to pitch in for that child labor, and sometimes it doesn't work so much. And my daughter was still in her bed this morning, so that worked out really well. Look at this picture, you guys. Isn't that pretty? And they've got these beautiful bokeh dots on there that just make it look totally magical. So again, this is still available for you if you want to receive it for free. It's a $20 value before shipping and GST, so it's a really good deal. And again, free when you purchase a minimum of $100 in December here. And then the last item is this little pack of cards here. I've given you supplies for 5 of these cards from the Looking Up card kit that we used to carry, and we're going to do this as an online class. So stay tuned. The recording of me making those cards is coming soon, and I'll send an email out to you. But my intention was that hopefully you'll get some fun holiday crafting in sometime over the break. So stay tuned. Again, I'll send that to your inboxes, okay? It's going to be a pre-recorded one, and it will be on Facebook and probably on YouTube, or maybe just on YouTube actually. That might work better. Okay, so we're going to start working on our cards now. So grab out your supplies here, and I have to apologize because I did a video earlier tonight, as I mentioned, but that one had to be scrapped. So unfortunately, I made my last pack of cards, but I'm going to have to walk you through these a little bit. So that's not the one that I did today. I'm using the stamps here from the kit. These tags were included in a kit, actually, from 2 years ago that included the stamp set here and also an ink spot. So the Poppy Parade is the coordinating color that goes along with this. If you are looking to purchase this one, it also makes 30 cards, but because of the extra value of the stamp set and the ink spot, this one's $35, and it's 3 designs. You make 10 of each of them. So let me know if you want one of those kits as well. Again, I have one of them in stock left over. So the tags are 3 different designs, and you've got one that doesn't have any stamping on the outside. You can stamp on the inside, of course. One that has some stamping on the outside. This is the way that they have designed it here. Have a Merry Christmas, but the tag is versatile for a lot of different sets. So the one that I used earlier tonight was the Poinsettia Petals, and that one was actually a returning favorite from last year. So I used the Warm Wishes from Our House to Yours. The front of this is deceiving. They shrunk down the images. You get so much in this set. You get a 3-layer poinsettia that you can put together. You get one that's all kind of layered up in the drawing. You get the leaves and other sprigs and some great sayings too. So this is a great stamp set for making some beautiful artistic cards. You can also, of course, get the kit from me and purchase this stamp set and the supplies to make another 30 of these cards. But the tags are really versatile. So if you want to just take a look through your collection, if you're worried about it, just assemble the rest of the tags, and then you can leave the little sayings to stamp at the very end. All right, so how do we make these cards? I have a couple of little hints for you. So the back side here, you'll notice as you take a peek that the twine is actually only wrapped through the front layer. It doesn't go through the base of the card. So make sure you put that on first. It's easier to put the thread through first before adhering it to the other base so that you're not kind of fumbling around with it. And I demoed earlier tonight how you could tie this around a bag and turn it into a hanging tag like that. But how you'll want to leave them right now is just like this with the two little tails hanging. And you'll take your piece of thread. I've given you a thread that's enough to make the 3 tags that you are creating. So then you're going to cut it into thirds, right? So imagine you've got one piece that's 3 times as long as this. You'll kind of wrap it back on itself, figure out how much a third is, and then snip it. Once you've got your piece for that individual tag, you will kind of fold it in half, and then you'll take that loop end, and this is what I'm talking about. It's easier to do it before your tag is assembled. Unfortunately, I can't go back in time. And so you'll have a loop there, and then you just put the tails through that loop, and then you've got this beautiful, neat looking tag. It's a wonderful way to wrap ribbon for bookmarks or twine for tags. It just makes it look so clean. I did have a technique as well for this backing with these little curly cues on there. This is a piece of foil that comes. And what I recommended doing, it comes on a backer. What I recommend doing is actually peeling off the backer, and what you will have left is just these foil squigglies left on that backing sheet. So the foil squigglies will be on there. Once you have this off, it makes it so much easier to peel those off and stick them on. And we do 2 on this tag, so 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom. Go close to these little stars so that you can see a lot of the filigree. And then 1 on the bottom here, which again, you can go close to the edge there, right in the middle, and then that's going to allow it to be visible under the tag. And then this one here gets another 2 of them. So again, close to that edge of that red border. And this is a layer that goes on top here as well. So just use your dimensionals to put those together. I'll send pictures out tomorrow as well. I'll have those posted, and then you'll have a bit of a photo reference for these tags. Sorry that I don't have another set of them. I used full 2 packs to actually have them all as gifts to my lovely club members. So let's put those aside. I'm noticing it freezing up a little bit here, and so I'm thinking it's still having internet problems with the connection from my phone to my computer, because don't we love wireless connections, hey? How many restarts did I do today? Don't even ask me. Oh, I should mention as well, this little piece here, there's a tag that comes out of it. So I was initially going to give these little gift tags as a gift to everyone, but then this little tag was left over, and it was just so cute that I couldn't handle it. Oh my goodness, what's happening now? Okay, it seems to be better now. I don't know why. I just had to give it a minute, and then it didn't get so crazy there. So this little tag here comes out of the middle. Save that. We're going to use that on this next project. And I just realized that I probably don't have another one of those cut out for stamping with you tonight, because I used it earlier today. I made it this far before my video got all crazy. So get out your supplies. I also want to remind everyone, not just club members, but everyone, that I put together an amazing resource for you. I blur out the images until we do club, because I always want the wow factor of you guys seeing it for the first time with me. But after club, I do update the pictures, and these are available on thesearemystamps.com, or you can take a look on my Facebook page. I have links to them, and I also email them out. These are PDFs that I create with supply lists, and you'll notice the supply list is quite long. It's got the images on there and the item numbers, and it also has the prices on there. It doesn't update the prices on them if they are on sale, so just keep that in mind. If they are retiring and they're discounted, the price is not going to be accurate, so you'll have to have a happy surprise, I guess, when you put it into your shopping cart online. But what I want you to know is that you don't need all of these supplies. These are the supplies that I have used to put together your projects. What you really need is underneath this section here, supplies you will need, which is a saying stamp set and neutral ink color. That's pretty much for everything. I make a note here that I'm taking it up a notch with white heat embossing on my saying. And then Stampin' Dimensionals and mini glue dots. And that's going to be the same pretty much for all of my projects. So don't worry if you don't have everything on the list. This is more like a shopping list. So if you fall in love with something and you want to know quick and easy where you can find it and how you can order it, you've got all the information that you need right here. Okay? So let's get started with this card. We're going to make one that looks like this. So you're the icing to my gingerbread is the saying that I have on there. You'll notice that I'm using some white embossing powder on there to really take it up a notch. Then I've got this piece here that is die cut from Designer Series Paper Pack, and I actually stamped these little cookies designs on here on this background sheet. There's a few different designs that you can have when you're a club member of mine. And if you decide to get multiple sets each month, I always take care when I'm putting together the kits to make sure you get different designs. So you might, if you have 2 sets of this, so from me, if you have ordered 2 sets, on your second set, you'll have a die cut image that looks like this. And that's just because I only had enough for everyone to receive one of the kits of the tags. And so to have a second card like this, I just had to die cut this myself. And I used their new craft paper. Okay, so how do we put this together? Let's take a look at a few things here. I'll stack these up. I don't need all of those visible. Oh boy, you guys, this sweater is hot. Hot, hot, hot. I have a lot of lights going on around here. I got my Santa hat on. And it is warm. Okay, let's take a look at what I've got. I can do everything except for the saying part because I don't have that little tag. I forgot that I used that on the last card. So I've got this beautiful little snowflake, and I'm going to grab from my Frosted Gingerbread stamp set the matching coordinating snowflake. This is called a photopolymer stamp set, and I'm seeing that I still have ink on my stamp that I used earlier today. If you guys don't have one of these yet, this is something to definitely add to your list. It's an essential product. It's called the Simple Chamois, and it looks like a mess, but it still works like a charm. You just rinse it under water until it goes clear. I find that rinsing it under hot water works really well, but you can just, with water, scrub up your stamps, and it's like the ink just is a magnet to the Simple Chamois. So I put mine in one of our stamp cases. You can buy them in packs of 4. They're great for storing embellishments and everything. So I know you'll use those. So let's switch this out. I'm going to put my bell back, put on my snowflake, and I have a table that warps. And so if you at home are working on a surface that is not a level surface, or if it warps, then you'll want to use something like this too. I just love using this grid paper. This is actually made for the Stamparatus, so it's a little bit smaller size than our normal grid paper, which is 11 by 17 inches. But I really like this because it gives me nice, even pressure, and it's a perfect size for me to use when I'm stamping off the paper. And like I said, with any photopolymer, we don't have any of the foam built into it, which would even out the pressure. And so it's nice to have the foam or something underneath it so you can get this beautiful solid stamped image. And you'll notice this is such a spectacular stamp set with just one stamp of the cinnamon cider. That's the coordinating color. You can use any brown, like a crumb cake would work well. But you can see it looks like now it's got this white piping on there, but it's just a negative image. You didn't have to do any extra stamping for that. So a really fun stamp set and lots of great sayings too. So that You're the Icing to My Gingerbread came from there, and Wishing You a Merry Christmas also came from that one. The Sending You Peppermint Kisses is really cute with all these peppermints and things like that. Of course, there's a matching die pack. Stampin' Up! Is all about coordination. And so you can make your own little peppermints too. Okay, let's start putting this together. Again, I stamped onto the smaller rectangle and I'm going to layer it up. So let's do this. I'm putting it on with some Stampin' Seal. My Stampin' Seal is my favorite, but I'll just maybe show you one more trick. As you glide it on, at the end, it's important to break the line of adhesive, because I don't know if you can see that. It actually stays adhered. So I do a little check mark to break that adhesive, and that means that it stays sticky at the tip there, which in turn allows it to advance properly the next time you want to use it. So if you don't have that sticky tip at the end, just use your finger to kind of roll it till there is some stickiness there, and then you can work from it there. Okay, what are we going to use? Are we going to use this little peppermint designer series paper? I think so. So I've already used the green and I've already used the red and white. So I think the peppermint is where it's at. So many great versatile options. So you see I had to just do it there. I was messing around with it earlier. Now I'm going to use my grid paper as another way that it's intended, which is as a measuring device. So I wanted to give you a big rectangle piece of designer series paper, but I just didn't have enough for 48 cards like that. So I had to improvise. And what I did was give us two little strips that we're going to give an optical illusion that there's one piece of paper that's solid going around the back side there. So I'm using my grid paper to evenly space this. Here we go. I just use the grid to kind of align it, eyeball it. And then I'm going to use dimensionals to put this on. Dimensionals, I might have mentioned, are my favorite tool to bring wow factor to a card so easily. You could be making a card that is white on white on white, and if you put dimensionals on there, it's so spectacular. I should mention as well, if you didn't have this stamp set or a stamp set that would be similar to it, don't fret. You can even use your blending brushes or a spritzer, and you can add a little bit of interest in the corner here. You could probably even just leave it blank too, and that would be very beautiful as well. So behind this little die cut piece, I'm going to put on some dimensionals too. This comes from our designer series paper. You can tell because the background is, the back side of it is patterned. And this designer series paper pack is really unique because it goes along with our dies and everything. Now for this next part, I mentioned that I kind of didn't set myself up for success here, but what I'm going to do is just pull apart one of my projects here so I can show you the inner workings of what I did here behind. So what I did is I stamped my saying on here. I used Versamark. Versamark is a super sticky ink, which will do double duty as every single color of the Stampin' Up! Color spectrum. When you stamp it on something, and I'll show you this here, maybe on just a scrap piece. If I have one, do I have one? How can she not have a scrap piece? Here, I've got some soft succulent. So let's do a playful thing here with maybe this snowflake, and I'll just do a little sidebar for you. Now the kids are in bed. I don't even have a timeline. Get ready for it. It might be the longest video you've ever seen. You can fast forward me if you need to, I guess. But let's play around with this a little bit. So Versamark gives us the look of a watermark image. Oh, I need my little stack here underneath so I can get even pressure. So when I use Versamark, I can stamp onto the cardstock and it makes it look as though I've stamped in the exact same color of ink as the cardstock. So again, matchy-matchy. And this is going to mimic every color of a rainbow. So if you're starting out, this is an essential product for me. It's also an essential product for me because we can do something really cool with it. And that's what I did on this little tag here, some heat embossing. So why don't we, with our soft succulent, because this is the scrap that I have, it's also one of my favorite color combinations right now, we'll stamp it onto there, and you can see it will get darker, but you can see that watermark image on there. That's with the same stamp pad, right? Doesn't it look cool? But with this one, we're going to do something a little bit different. So this one, we can scoop up some white embossing powder. Because this ink is so sticky, it is going to stick that embossing powder on there. I just clean off the rest with my finger there, or you can use like a nice paintbrush. Then with a heat tool, I can come in here, and these really granular bits are going to melt into the paper and turn reflective. It always takes a little bit in the beginning, but when it starts to go, here we go. I don't know if you guys can see that there. Starting to change. And now we have that beautiful reflective quality, and it really adds a lot. Isn't that fun? So now a totally different look with those different color combinations. Now to take it up a notch, you could then go to our die pack, which has a coordinating die, because matchy everything. Don't mind my little bit of washi tape there. That's what I use to hold my dies in place. So make sure that they perfectly cut it out. And then I would crank that through my Big Boss machine. This would even fit through the Mini Boss machine. And then it's going to perfectly cut it out. Isn't that fun? So again, lots of versatility with Versamark. There's your spiel on Versamark. That's a sidebar and a half, hey? But it sure does look good, doesn't it? Lots of options with that. Versamark will keep working even when it gets grungy. You just need to have a re-inker. So I always recommend getting a re-inker along with your ink pad, no matter the color that you're working with. Okay, back to the project at hand. My goodness. Okay, what I did here is I put, you can see I stamped incorrectly on this one. So I had to, utilize the number one feature of paper, which is that it has two sides. And I just put some Stampin' Seal on there, and I wrap my ribbon kind of just in half and then put it on there. And then when I flip it over, then I trim off the ends so that they look all nice like that. And then the final finishing touch of this project, you would put it on there with some, let's do some more dimensionals, because these ones got kind of pulled apart. Dimensionals, everywhere dimensionals. So we'll put that together. And then the final finishing part is to add on these little acrylic elements is what they call them. There's a whole bunch of different shapes for them. Let's see here. We've got this one. We've got kind of like a fleur-de-lis almost. And then some of you will have two of these little dots, which you can just glue on. They come in two different colors in the one pack. Here we go. And I made 48 cards twice. So, what is it, 96 cards? And this is what I still have left over. So that's pretty great, isn't it? I actually made more than that. That is kind of a lie. So you'd have your nice tag on there. Imagine that. And then we're going to use the fine tip glued pen, which I have somewhere here. There it is. Fine tip glue pen is not shown in any catalog, but we still have it. Don't be disappointed. We definitely still have it. It's just available online only in terms of the code. If you want, just email me. I'd be happy to add this. You can add it to any order, club order, whatever you want. It's got a post in here, and if you use your finger to line it up, you can normally, I did it once, then I had to pull it out and do it again here. You can get that in there, and that little post keeps it clear. You can also store it upside down to make sure that that glue stays nicely flowing for you. My favorite tool now for picking these little bits up is our Take Your Pick tool. It has a little putty tip on there, and then the other side you can actually disconnect and you can use it to detach whatever you're gluing on. It is so handy. This little tool comes with options too. So this tool, oh, do I not have it handy? No, there it is. It's tucked in here. Okay, so this tool comes like this. You've got the putty in there, which is super sticky, and you just keep cranking it down as you need it. And there's also a refill tip that's included when you purchase it, and another refill that you can purchase in addition. On this side, you've got the stabby tool and like a palette edge. And then it also comes with this tool, which is like a double stylus. You've got a small and a large stylus. Separately, you can also add on this little piece here, which is our die brush, and that pokes through all the little holes to separate your paper from the dies when you cut it through with the big boss or the mini boss. And that just goes onto this tip here. You would unscrew this section and then put on your die brush. So one little tool, lots of versatility, and boy, do I sure love it for all those little finicky things that we have to do sometimes, like putting on those beautiful little acrylic shapes. So let me show you in the catalog where you can find these products as you finish up your card here. So let's start off with our mini catalog. And we're going to go to page 9, where you can see this entire gingerbread and peppermint suite. There's a lot of products leaving us from this suite, so you'll want to pick them up before they're gone. Again, the frosted gingerbread bundle comes with the stamp set and the dies. I love the dies. They come with outlines to cut out those stamped images and even the designer series paper, but you also get these beautiful detailed images for the snowflake, ornament, bell, and star. You get little round circles to do some peppermint candies and the little peppermint swirls to go along with them, and then you get this beautiful border, which is so detailed and fun. We had fun with this last month. I'll show you the card in just a second. The Pretty Pillow Box dies are where I got this little tag from. And then we also use the acrylic shapes, the gingerbread and peppermint acrylic shapes. Those ones are being discontinued as well. And we used our designer series paper for the gingerbread and peppermint suite. This one is a really unique one because, of course, you get sheets and sheets. I've used most of them, but you get sheets and sheets of these elements which you can die cut out. Let's see if I can find them. Here's some trees. We don't have dies for the trees, but this is an example that you can just cut them out, fussy cut. And then the back side of all these are these beautiful gingerbread patterns. You almost can smell them, right? They're so pretty with all that piping on there. And then you got some patterns that are a little bit more like geometric stripes and things. And then the back side, like I said, you've got those little trees. Look at those little peppermints. And you can see them in the red and white pattern. And this is like a really small pattern there. So fun. This is a really great pack, and if you're obsessed with this suite like I am, make sure you get, before they're gone, the Gingerbread and Peppermint Memories and More card pack. It's got all kinds of little tiny cards like that, and you can turn them into greeting cards by putting them along with the Memories and More cards and envelopes set, or you can just use regular cardstock as well. That totally works too. All right, next we're going to showcase the Real Red ribbon, which is 15% off. Again, there's two different kinds of ribbon that I used on these samples. One of them here is the one that has like the mesh inside, and that's the one that's 15% off, only $8.07 while supplies last. The other ribbon is in our annual catalog. So if we take a look there, we can see it on page 140, and that's our Real Red double stitch satin ribbon. And again, that's really stunning, isn't it? It's so shiny. So I love both of those ribbons for different reasons, but anything that's in that beautiful real red color is so nice. I also have flagged here that I use the embossing. So we've got the heat tool, we've got embossing powders in either the metallics or basics. And then that Versamark, which of course is an ink pad that everyone needs in their stamping collection. So I mentioned that we had fun with this suite last month. I wanted to do something this month that was going to be like a little bit more brighter, whiter. And I'll show you what we did last month. This is like more color saturation, a little bit darker. We used those elements too, and then we took it up a notch with some fun shimmery crystal FX. Oh boy, we're still having a little bit of quality issues with the picture. I don't know what's going on. And then we did some white embossing there as well. And this is a little section of that border die. It's so pretty, right? Okay, on to the next one. Again, just pause me if I'm going too fast. I'm happy to wait for you to come and craft with me at your convenience, at your leisure. The next supplies that we're going to be grabbing are next in your stack. So grab out the vanilla bases, and you've got a tree and some cheer here. Again, I've got the supply list all done up ready for you. If you ever want to purchase any of these items, you can do it easy peasy by adding it to your list there. I'll show you the card that we're going to make. So the one that we're making here is with our nice cheer on it, and it's going to look something like this. So, oh, this thing's got a little bit crooked here in my drawer. There we go. I normally keep them in their little envelopes. These are a perfectly mailable envelope. You'll just stick it in there and you can actually put it through the post with mailing labels on it, or you can cut a piece of printer paper in and stick it on the backside with your information on there, return address on there as well. So this one here is a little bit different. It's kind of like a classic layout, but we're taking it up a notch with this little fold over up at the corner, and that just adds a little bit of intrigue on there. Of course, this is where we're going to be using some of our Eden's Garden, and that's in the Designer Series paper, the cotton paper that's making up the tree, and then also these gems. So all of those products, which are while supplies last only, are on this card. Okay, let's take a look at what we're doing. I always start with my bone folder and folding my card in half because it seems like a very grounding exercise. It gives me a minute to think about like what's coming next, right? Okay, my card's opening that way. I'm going to take my strip of Designer Series paper, which is definitely longer than the card. I designed it that way because we're going to do a fun little sneak peek with this Designer Series paper. So I'm putting, I have to show this gold side. I mean, the other side is so nice, but I have to show this gold embossing. It's already done for me. So I put that on there, then I take my paper snips and I'm just going to snip off the excess going from the back side. Then you got it perfect. And I didn't want to waste this. This is a 6-inch by 1.5-inch piece of paper, and so you can get a lot of these. How many of them out of a 12 by 12 page? A lot of them anyways. I'm just going to put a little bit more adhesive there. I'm going to use this piece now up in this top left corner to create this extra little detail to make it look like I've got this continuous paper running behind and that there's just this little sneak peek right there. Okay, so you might notice as well that on the sneak peek corner, the back side of the paper is actually colored. I've got two different versions that I can show you here. One I did in Soft Succulent, and this one I did in Merry Merlot, which is the color to match this strip of red here. If you're a matchy-matchy person like me, I'm speaking your language. And if you're new to stamping, you're like, what is she talking about? That's okay too. Okay, I'm going to use Merry Merlot today because I'm feeling very red and green traditional Christmas colors. I'm using my blending brushes. So these blending brushes come in a pack of 3. It's great to have at least one pack so that you can have colors that go with different families. They wash clean very well, but you still might end up with a little bit of staining in there, and that's why it's nice to have one for blues and one's for reds and one's for purples, or you know, another pack that's for yellows and things like that. I'm just going to color the back side of this paper. Because this is the back side, I'm actually doing the top right. When I'm looking at the back side of the paper, I'm doing the top right so that when I flip it over, it will end up being the top left. And you can choose how much saturation you want with these blending brushes. You can hold it a little bit further down on the handle here, and that just is going to give you this like soft blended look, but I want really deep color saturation, so I'm moving my finger up and going to put in even more pressure right on the edge there. You'll notice I'm starting off the page, and that's just so that if you get a smush or something like that, it doesn't look so obvious. You can just keep on adding the color and make it as deep as you want to. Now you're going to want to put that aside and let it dry for a minute before we start playing with it, okay? So don't start touching it right now because that ink hasn't sunk into the paper yet. There's no stamping on this card. Can you believe it, you guys? So I'm just going to put these to the side as well because I'm booby trap myself and going to ink myself up. Okay, let's start talking about this beautiful tree that I've made for you here. So I want to talk to you because one of my favorite products are these adhesive sheets. And these come 6 inches by 12 inches, and you can cut them down to whatever size that you need. This is how I made your tree for you and got that incredible texture. I took a piece of evening evergreen cardstock paper. Then I took what was a nice, not crinkled piece of our evening evergreen cotton paper. This is, I would liken it to tissue paper, but like a really high quality tissue paper in a coordinating Stampin' Up! Color. So this is a fun technique that you can do with this paper. All I did was take a piece of it, smush it up, really scrunch it as much as you possibly can. And what I mean by high quality is you can do that and then fold it out and it really stays together quite nicely. So now I've got all that texture. I'm going to take my adhesive sheet here, and when you peel off the backing, there's going to be one that's like wax paper and one that has stickiness on it. And I'm going to take that sticky side and put it onto the cardstock. And then I just keep peeling it off and putting it down even more. Oh, come on now. There we go. So now I've got a sticky backing, and I could cut through with this on the embossing machines, the cut and emboss machines. I could even punch through this, and I just made cardstock into a sticker. So you can imagine the possibilities with that, especially with a detailed die, right? So something like in the last card that we were looking at there, you've got these beautiful detailed shapes. Well, if my paper would fit this, you could cut this out and it would turn that dainty image into a sticker backing. So handy, right? But we're going to do something a little bit differently with this card and that, or with this little piece of the project, and that's I'm going to peel off the sticky backing first before I die cut, and I'm going to stick this beautiful paper on. And then when I press it on like that, and now it's really stuck on there continuously, and I don't have it sticking in lines or anything like that. It's all continuous. Now when I use my die and crank it through the Big Boss, I'm using a Whimsical Tree die. So you just crank that through the Big Boss like that. And when it cranks through, it flattens it out a little bit, as you can see from my sample here. But then you get this gorgeous textured tree out of it. So fun, right? Just takes it up a notch. So this is, I hope, a fun, inspiring technique for you. I need this one. I don't need this one. let's not put away the supplies I need. Here we go. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about putting this tree on. So on the back side, it's that cardstock backing, and we're just going to put on some dimensionals ready to roll there. The other thing that we're going to do, go back to this one here. I'm just going to take a tissue and just make sure that it's dry. It's not really coming off there. Perfect. And now I'm going to start curling this over using my bone folder. That's going to allow this little piece here to peek out and for my colored cardstock to peek through onto the back side here. So fun, right? Now you want to make sure you take a look at your hands, that you don't have any ink on there, and just use a little baby wipe if you need to clean up. You can also use your simple chamois for this too. Don't say that 5 times fast. Simple chamois. And then we are going to start adhering this. We're going to take our little strip of Mary Merlot. So again, flipping over to the back side, which is where we've got that color already laid down that's going to peek through. I just put a little strip of adhesive. And then you can line it up so it's equal on there. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on this as well. Oh, some people go crazy with their dimensionals. I'm not that person. Like, good on ya if you are. I'm going to put this one down a little bit because I want to put some glue dots there just to make sure it holds really nicely. I don't want to see that designer series paper peeking out. I want it to be like invisible. Oh, there's still a lot of ink on that paper. It doesn't want to pick up the mini glue dot. Take your pick. Pick that off and stab it on there. Oh, it really doesn't want to go on there. Might have to use like a multi-purpose glue. There we go. We'll see if this goes. I'm sure once it dries, like tomorrow, it'll just hold it all in place. Because yeah, it really doesn't want to do it now. Oh, come on there. No, it's not going to work. Okay, that's all right. We don't have to have it that way. So let's take a look here. We are going to take off these dimensional backers. I'm sure if you didn't have as much ink on there that it wouldn't be as visible. So you might want to leave it like that, or you might want to take a little glue dot and just glue that little corner down. So it makes like a nice little roll. Your paper might be kind of coming apart like mine is. If you need to do that, or if you're having that happen, then you can just put a second glue dot, just layer them up under there, and that's going to hold it nicely. Do you hear that glue dot? That's going to hold it nicely. Succumb to my will. There we go. Let's put that on there. Okay, so now we can put our little tree on. Isn't this tree fun? It's so pretty. And it's from a whimsical suite that is so much fun. We have lots of options with this suite. And I'll show you one of the other things that you can do. Again, adhesive sheet backing is going to be your savior for something like this. This is a die cut, and I've done it with that same shimmery vellum as your cheer, and you can even put that over top of the tree. Isn't that fun? So this is just another way of stepping up your cards. We're not going to do this on your projects, but it's another way to step it up. There's also a way of stepping up the cheer even more, because this die pack comes with letters that kind of nest into the other ones. So you can see there how great that looks. Again, adhesive sheets are going to be your best friend. So those are just some extra samples, some different ideas for you that you can step it up if you're not prepping 48 cards for everyone. But let's put on our cheer that we're going to put on here with our adhesive backing on our gold as well. So you can see now this adhesive backing, it's always tricky to get it going, you guys. But once it starts, then it just peels right off. You can use your take your pick tool if you need to as well. If you've got nice thick gel nails, you'll definitely probably need your take your pick tool. I usually don't have this much trouble with my now plain nails. I'm going to try a different tactic here. Oh boy. Insert Christmas music here, right? You guys listening to Christmas music right now too? Maybe do you have a fire going? Oh, I'm just imagining all the beautiful things that you could be doing to create this most amazing Christmas crafting experience. Okay, so I'm just laying it on there so the stickiness is right on the back side of that cheer. And maybe let's take a closer look at these elements from the Garden Gems embellishment pack. Can you guys see? Sometimes when I kind of cross my eyes and look at an embellishment, I'll see different colors that aren't really supposed to be there, but I saw Mary Merlot, and that's why I just had to put the Mary Merlot on this card. Let's pick these off and we can start decorating our beautiful tree. These little oval shaped ones are, what shape do you call that? Opal, probably. I think it's opal shape. These ones are so elegant and pretty. You could definitely make those as petals of a flower with one of these round ones as a center. Or what else could you do? I'm going to change this one up here. I'm going to put it up here. I like a little small one up here somewhere. It's too close. I'm going to put it up here. And the small one over here. They're so pretty. Beautiful little ornaments for that tree. And there you go. No stamping whatsoever on that card, but you've got an option of, you know, whatever color that you want to put in your corner there, or yeah, whatever designer series paper you may have received from me. So let's take a look through the catalog. I'll put this up to the side there, and we'll talk about where you can find these products. Let's start in the mini catalog again, just because we know that one's leaving us first. So we have our Words of Cheer bundle. Now I want to showcase this a little bit more because this is one that I think has maybe slipped under the radar a bit. This Words of Cheer stamp set is just incredible. You've got great sayings with this fun modern font, which pairs with this kind of plain modern font, and then this beautiful image here. In the dies, they can definitely be a standalone product. You've got the cheer, which is what we've used. You've got the cheer letters, which layer over the top. You've also got happy, which has the layering element too. And then you've got all these little sprigs and boughs and stars and centers of flowers and things like that. The only one that actually coordinates, well, the only two that coordinate with stamps is this one here to cut out this big sprig, and then this one here to cut out those little holly leaves. So if you wanted, you could get this die pack for 50% off, which is only $24, and that's an incredible value. I love that you can use these dies as like a positive or negative, right? You could cut this out of a sheet of paper and you'd end up with letters that you could use on another project. But from what's remaining, you could actually put some designer series paper underneath or something sparkly and have that poking through the cutout letter openings. Does that make sense? You can do the same sort of thing with this little dot pattern that cuts out too. You do lots of fun things with positive and negative imagery there. And again, this stamp set is one of my favorites. I've used it so many times over the last few months. It seems to be my go-to saying set. The sayings are just the perfect size. All right, I was talking about Whimsical Trees. This is our Whimsical Suite, and it includes a stamp set and a die pack. I used the die pack and showed you a little bit already, but I want to showcase it a little bit more. So the dies come with all these different trees. They're kind of shrunken down there, so let me show you. There's that big tree that we used. Then there's kind of like a medium-sized tree, a medium-sized tree. This is the garland to go back and forth on that big tree. There's also a small tree with a garland to match. These fun little ornaments that get cut out, which are really whimsical. You can die cut those out. But look at this here. You've got little stars and little baubles that you can put onto your trees. So fun. So the Whimsical Trees are also retiring. The whole thing is retiring. So in this case, you would want to get the bundle and save 10%. In the previous case, you would want to buy them separately because the dies are 50% off. So you could get 50% off the dies, and then you could get, you know, the stamp set at the regular price there, but you get a coordinating pack for way less than bundle and save 10%. Okay, so Whimsical Trees, that's a wonderful set. And then the gold shimmer vellum, isn't it fun? It's just got the best of everything. It's got that shimmer, it's not too glittery, it's kind of translucent like all of our dies, or sorry, all of our vellum is. And right now it's 10% off, so only $6.07. Great for punching, great for die cutting. You can put it on as strips, or, you know, even texturize it with our embossing folders. Looks gorgeous. On here, we use our blending brushes from page 129 of our annual catalog. And then also from our annual catalog here, I wanted to showcase our adhesive sheets, which are number 13 on 167. And these are so versatile. You'll love them. You can use them with punches, with dies. You can turn anything into a sticker. All right, let's get ready for our next project here. And we'll pull out our next supplies, which look like this. I'm going to put these ones away just so that I don't get them inky. I know you guys can just back up the video and go to it whenever you need to. So with these ones here, we've got, this is probably one of the first cards in months that I haven't featured designer series paper. We're going to kind of create our own look here. The snowflakes and some fun stitching, and then I created this beautiful soft snowflake background. You can customize this in whatever color that you want. So this sample that I made was with a beautiful light pink color. Which one was it? Was it Blushing Bride, I think, maybe? I can't remember. Yeah, Blushing Bride. So you can definitely do that. Or you can create your own Spectrum ink pad and introduce any colors that you want. So I'm going to showcase that a little bit so you can see that a little bit more. So just remember, if you want to just do it simplified, you can just do it with one color as well. Okay, so what will you need? You will need some re-inkers if you are creating your own Spectrum ink pad. I use my re-inkers like this, and if you're wanting to do this technique along with me, you will want a spritzer, Stampin' Spritzer, which, where did mine go? It's buried here. Somewhere. Oh, here it is. It's clear, so it's of course hard to see. The Stampin' Spritzers are great from Stampin' Up. You get 2 of them for $4, and they are way better quality than anything from a dollar store. You can fill them with water or with alcohol, and you can even put re-inkers in there to get a colored spritz, or you can put shimmer paint in there too. So there's lots of versatility. I'm using water in mine tonight for this water-based technique, this watercolory kind of technique. So what am I using for colors? Let's talk about this maybe. Let's do, this one is Petal Pink. And I think I'm going to go So Saffron and Fresh Freesia. For this one here, I introduced a little bit of Pale Papaya too, and that was a little bit more of the orange color. I might actually keep it to just these 2 colors this time, just for the sake of ease. Okay, let's talk about doing this tag first so that we can let it dry. You want to feel your tag. It might be shimmery white. So this one here I can tell is shimmery white because it's got a little bit of a glitter to it as I look at it in the light. You won't see it on camera. But I've got a different texture on some of them, a different type of paper, which is our cotton paper. It's called Fluid 100, and it's specially for watercoloring. Both of these papers work really well for this technique, but they do give a little bit of a different look. So the one that I'm working with tonight here is shimmery white. These ones here are made with the watercolor paper. I'm going to use the inside of a stamp case just because I'm going to get a little bit watery here, and I just want to keep it contained and not have it go everywhere on my project. I'm also getting some stamps ready. So my favorite Snowflake stamp set is the Snowflake Wishes. And it includes so many of these beautiful, unique snowflakes. And again, it's shrunken down. You get a lot in here. I think you get 9 snowflakes, and then you get these little flurries as well. And you get a whole bunch of sayings, including Happy Hanukkah, which is very rare to find in a stamp, unfortunately. Another one that would work for you is, oh, where is it? I swear I just did this last night. I don't know where it is. Okay, another one that, oh, oh, you guys, were you shouting at me? It's right here. I opened it up. It is late, okay? Give me that anyways. Merry Snowflakes is another one. This is in our mini catalog, and it has a coordinating die pack. That's actually where these snowflakes that are stitched into your cardstock came from, that same die pack. So this is a really great one to bundle and save 10%. And now I'm going to open it up and hopefully not forget and lose my mind here. The one that I'm using though is that other stamp set, and that's because I can put all of those stamps onto one big huge block and turn it into one big stamp. Okay, again, I didn't clean up from last night because that's not really my style, so let me just use my simple chamois. I'm just going to do a quick cleanup, make sure that that's good to go. Looks good. And now we are going to, I'm going to use this second clear block as a substrate for stamping. Or am I? No, I'm not. Okay, let me get this all sorted out. I'm going to grab a baby wipe. Let's do first things first. Okay, first things first, grab a baby wipe. If you're doing the spectrum technique, otherwise you're just going to use a regular stamp pad. You can do the same thing. But I want to show you how you can create a spectrum stamp pad in custom colors, whatever you choose. So again, I'm using some fresh freesia. I'm just going to put some dots around. I'm going to be using, enough of the image to cover this tag, so you don't need to do too much. You can kind of keep it contained to one section. And then I'm going to use my petal pink. I'm going to use a little bit more of this lighter color and just filling in between. There we go. Now when I pick up this color, it doesn't matter if there's some openings, because I'll show you what I'm going to do with my stamp. When I'm picking up the color, I'm going to just stamp the image and then, oops, hopefully that doesn't come up, and then just move it a little bit. And so it kind of blends the color a little tiny bit. Now that I've got that ready to go, I'm going to spritz on here. You don't want big puddles of water. You just want a little bit of wetness on there. So I'm going to then dab it off, make sure it's not too crazy, because I want a nice blending of colors, but not like pooling of colors, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to take my stamp that's already inked up, and I'm going to stamp it onto my paper, making sure I have a nice clear stamped image. And then ta-da, you get this watercolory kind of blended look, and it just can be magical. You can see on my other samples as it dries, it just is a little bit blurry and kind of looks melty or something. I don't know. So let's set this to the side and let it dry for a little bit. Now we can use this for about, I would say 20 cards. I don't have 20 cards to make, so I'm just going to move it along and toss it into the bin there. But that would be ready to go if you were making swap cards or something like that, or making multiples. You could use that for lots of different cards. You can do it with sayings as well. You can do lots of different things. Let me get rid of that too, because it's got a little bit wet. Clean workstation is like one of the best things, one of the best gifts that you can give to yourself, because it can get a little crazy sometimes, right? Let's go to our cardstock backing. fold that in half, and let's take a look at this stitching. This is stitched with two different sets. One of them is the Stitched with Whimsy, which is the rectangle, and then I ran it through the Big Boss again with some dies that just stitch, don't cut anything. Both of these dies actually don't cut anything, but you get these cute little snowflakes. Aren't they magical? I just love the look of this background. I'm going to put it on with, I think I did dimensionals, yeah. So let's do some dimensionals again. And then we're going to start modifying our other paper. Again, you could make cards more simply than this. You definitely could, but I'm going to showcase you kind of artisan techniques that you can implement on many different styles of cards. This is some of that frosted paper that is my gift with a $100 purchase this month. And I'm going to modify this paper a little bit with our blending brushes again. And I'm going to use, what should I use this time? Should I use maybe Fresh Freesia? That'd be fun. Purple to go along with the purples in this beautiful drying piece over here. I like that idea. So I know I'm doing like a cardinal sin here. I'm switching from different inks and I'm not rinsing it because I didn't think about doing that beforehand. I'm kind of going on the fly. So I'm just going to brush it off and make sure that there's nothing crazy. I'm going from a lighter color to a little bit of a darker color, so I'm not too concerned with that I'm going to get damage in my ink pad. And now I can use my blending brush to just smoosh on some color there. I can make it again as soft and subtle as I want, or I can make it as bright as I want. The key for this though is that the embossed section here is going to resist any ink being absorbed into the paper. So you want to buff it off with a Kleenex just so that you don't have that ink coming off on your hands. Isn't that fun though? So that's one way that you can customize all of those sheets, because every single one of them on the back side has this beautiful silver embossing with white, and this is just one way that you can modify that. So cute, right? Should I keep with the purple theme and do my stamping in purple too? That'd be cute. Should we do a big one this time? Maybe Season's Greetings. That's a fun one. So that means I have to clean something again. I'm notoriously bad for not cleaning my stamps. It's like the better bet for myself would be to clean it before I use it every single time, because after I use it, it just doesn't seem to happen for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. So the Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas comes from the Snowflake Wishes stamp set. I'm going to use one though from this Merry Snowflakes. And ooh, okay, I did use it before, so it's all mounted up and ready to go. I thought I was going to have to do a demo on how to put together our red rubber stamps. These are a little bit different than our photopolymer, but I love them for different reasons. They stand up very, very well over time. They don't degrade. They'll last you years and years and years, decades really. And they've also got the foam cushion already built in, so they're perfect for getting a nice clear stamped image. So I'm going to just do a twist, tap, tap. And that very nicely inks up my stamp. And because I'm using a paper that's got a coating and it's a little bit more textured, I find I just give it a little tiny wiggle so it kind of gets into some of the crevices, and then you get that beautiful stamped image. Now the other night, last night, I stamped and it didn't give me such a beautiful clear image for this Merry Everything. And how I fix that is by getting a blender pen, which we sell in packs of 3. They're double tipped and they've got a clear solution in them. So maybe let's take a look here at the one part of this which I maybe don't like so much, this N. You can see there's a little bit of a relief there. If I scribble off, make sure that it's got no ink on it, I can actually use the ink that's on the paper and blend it so it makes it look like it didn't stamp incorrectly. And by incorrectly, I mean just that it's a textured paper and it's, you know, sometimes doesn't stamp so clear. And then now it blends it perfectly. So Stampin' Blend blender pen, is what they're actually called, blender pens. are a really handy tool, and they'll last you years and years. For me, even when I was doing in person, a pack of 3 would last, like all of them would last, I don't know, 9 years. So it's a really good investment. Okay, let's start putting this card together. And I'm just loving this purple color scheme. It's really fun. I'm going to do Stampin' Seal on the back of this and dimensionals on the back side of that one. I keep burying my dimensionals. I think I'm using about 4 different sheets of them too. Let's finish this one up. There's nothing like the sense of satisfaction when you finish up a sheet of dimensionals. I always feel like I've really accomplished something. Again, the little things in life you have to celebrate, right? Okay, let's take a look here. So I've got my adhesive on the back there, and I'm going to kind of put this together all at once. There we go, my tag. So you could definitely put this on straight. Part of my Stampin' therapy is to try and put things on crooked once in a while to have a feeling of whimsy. I'm a little bit more of a type A personality. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And so I really like everything straight and aligned. And this is outside of the norm for me. But I thought, you know, you got the snowflake whimsy, and I'm feeling whimsical, right? I've got my, my Santa hat on. I'm going to use Wink of Stella now. This is our platinum shimmer paintbrush. It's in the clear color, but it does show up platinum. You can paint this on, so you know I could go in and add shimmer painting onto all of my snowflakes if I wanted to. One way that I love to use this is to splatter it. So I take the lid and the paintbrush section and I just flick it over my project, and it adds so much. What do you think about this misty moonlight color? I'm pretty obsessed with it, and I think I want to repaint my front door in this color. I'm just loving it. So I don't know if you guys can see that. That shimmer paintbrush just adds so much glitter and glitz onto there. Just makes it, takes it up a notch, right? Now, something else that takes it up a notch is this amazing triple whammy bow. I don't know what this is called. I'm calling it a triple whammy bow. It's got 3 loops, and then you've got 2 little tails that come out from it, and it's tied in the middle with a bit of baker's twine. So this can be kind of tricky to put together. Maybe you have someone there with you. How I do it though is by taking, I use my fingers as a gauge. If you've got little dainty fingers, then you would probably need to use 4. I have big hands, so I'm going to use my 3 fingers and then just get the measurement from that, and then I'm just wrapping it back and forth accordion style. And at the end of this, you should have 3 loops on each side. So this one didn't work out quite as much. I'm going to just make it a little bit smaller. I left a little bit too much there. Here we go. So play with it until you get kind of the spacing that you want. You could put mini glue dots as you go, right, to layer up all these different pieces. It will make this next step easier, but I'm going to try to do this here where I just wrap this twine around the middle of it. This is our Whisper White Baker's twine, and I'm just tying like a nice tight knot, and that's going to sit in behind that beautiful little bow that you've created. I made that look easy, you guys. If it's harder for you, like, don't feel badly. It was harder for me last night for some reason. And tonight, the ribbon gods are in my favor, and they're they're being easy on me. So now I've got this great triple loop bow, and I'm going to just snip off this excess, which is going to sit in behind, and we're going to use our mini glue dots to hold that on. Mini glue dots. I'm not snipping off the ends quite yet because I'm going to do some fluffing first. And I find that sometimes your ribbon will fray a little bit as you touch it more and more. And so the last thing that I'm going to do, oops, my sweater's got a mind of its own. So I'm going to fluff this up and really like make it texturized, kind of spreading the pieces out. And then that's when I'm going to come in here and do the little angle cut, is after I've fluffed it. Oops. Come on. There you go. So now you've got this beautiful textured bow, which adds so much interest, doesn't it? You'll need about a 16-inch long piece of ribbon if you're wanting to do this. You can always do it while the ribbon's still attached to the spool though, and then that will give you room to play. I probably should have actually moved it around the back side. This one turned out so nice. You can see how the ribbon is kind of like folding in on itself like a little V there. This one doesn't look maybe as nice as the other one, but I wonder if it looks nice on the back side. Let's see here. Oh, it totally does. I'm going to switch it around. There we go. I can hear my daughter. She's singing in her bed still. It's 11 o'clock at night. Time to go to sleep. Time to go to sleep. Okay, so now I've decided that I'm doing it this way. I'm just going to do that. I think she wants her water. Okay, yeah, I like the look of this way better. You guys know that, right? It's like nobody can tie bows completely perfectly the first time. You have to just finesse them and wiggle them around a little bit. This one makes me a lot happier. There we go. Okay, and now to finish this card up, I'm going to put on these beautiful little sequins. And then I'm going to use my fine tip glue pen again. So I just kind of created this like scattery look. These sequins, you know, you can use to your heart's content on this project. So I'm going to just put on some little dots of glue wherever I want my sequins to be. They say odd numbers are very aesthetically pleasing. So I'm kind of doing groups of 5 and 3. And now again, I'm going to have to go up there in a minute here. Again, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool along with the stabby end. And I'm going to pick up my little sequins and stick them on. Now, if you don't have a Take Your Pick tool, doing something like this is going to make you appreciate the advantages of the Take Your Pick tool, because it just makes this not finicky at all. It makes it quite easy to use. These incredibly cost-effective embellishments, like these little sequins. There we go. Well, the good thing is with the recording here, I can pause you and just run upstairs, help her out, and then I can come back and you don't have to wait for me at all. So I will do that. Make sure she's got the water that she needs, you know. Not like she didn't have tons of water earlier today, but oh well. Any stalling tactic that they can employ is always waiting, I feel like, in reserve for kids, right? It's like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Like, well, you just went right before going to bed. I need water. Oh, you know, my pajamas are itchy. Like, if it's not one thing, it's another thing. I'm going to save these sequins for something else. So I'm just going to put those to the side up here with my other ones from the other night. All right, now again, when you are storing your cards, make sure you put them in these clear envelopes. Don't throw out these clear envelopes. They're so good for storing your cards and making sure that those sequins don't get picked off as you pull them in and out of the box or wherever you have them stored. So make sure you use those. I hope you like this card. It's pretty fun to put together all the little bits and create this beautiful designer series paper in the background, hey? Now let's take a look at the products that they use, and then I'll go upstairs and give her another drink of water and see if she needs anything else. So funny. Okay, let's look at our mini catalog first. I used the Merry Snowflakes bundle. So this is the stamp set where the Merry everything came from and the season's greetings came from. And the dies are so fun. This is probably my favorite snowflake die pack that we've ever had, and I'll explain why to you. These three here nest inside of other outline snowflakes which cut and emboss. These ones will only emboss, and that's how we got this incredible stitched look. Then you get, so these ones work with your snowflake stamps, so you can cut those out too, or you could of course nest them like this with a bit of washi tape or something like that to keep them in place and run them through, and then you get a snowflake that's cut out and embossed in the middle. Then you've got these really detailed ones that give stitching and cutout images. You've got even more here. So you've got 3 that will stitch and cut out on that one and a couple more there. Then you've got some little snowflake pieces there. And then this is a really cool piece. This doesn't cut anything. It just impresses into the paper and gives that beautiful embossed design. So elegant. And again, those are all retiring. So you want to get those before they leave us while supplies last until January 3rd. The die that I used for this tag is actually from our stocking dies, and this one is 50% off right now. So this is a great stitched die, and that's how we created this big tag piece there, cranking that through the Big Boss. I love the stitched elements. Once you start looking for them, it is such easy coordination. So if you're ever wondering, how to coordinate it, you could just search in our online store, stitched, and it will bring up all the products. I'm sure there's probably like 25 or 30 that are stitched. And we used, 3 different products here that are stitched, right? Our sequins come from page 37 from our Peaceful Place. And I want to say we used these for 48 cards for 2 months, so a total of 96. And look at how many I still have left. So amazing, right? You can really feel free to embellish your projects and go over the top with these because they're so cost effective at just $8.75 for 800 pieces. Wow. Great for shaker cards, great for embellishments. You could do all kinds of things with it. The Snowflake Wishes stamp set that I was mentioning has a die pack as well, but this is that amazing stamp set. It's from the annual catalog. It's shrunken down and it doesn't show it in all of its glory, but honestly, this is one of my favorite stamp sets just because of the versatility of sayings and because it's got friendship and thank you and may your season sparkle. And it doesn't have to be Merry Christmas, right? You've got a nice saying for the inside of your card too. From our little tools page, we use our Stampin' Spritzer. We even use the blending brushes to create that look on the Designer Series paper. And of course, that Designer Series paper was, again, that gift with a $100 purchase this month. And we've got the Fluid 100 watercolor paper or the Shimmery White cardstock. You may have had one or the other. And if you got 2 sets of cards from me, I made sure that you got one of each of them so that you can play with them and feel the difference. The white Baker's Twine came from our Baker's Twine Essentials pack, which comes with 5 different essential colors. The punch that I used for this little piece, this little tag piece coming out there, is half of the Label Me Lovely. So that's a really versatile stamp that you can use for Designer Series papers, or it works great for sayings too. The Stitched with Whimsy dies are the no cutting dies that I was mentioning, and it includes a whole bunch of these great rectangles and squares, and it doesn't cut anything. It just provides that beautiful stitching in there. And so again, you've got stitched triangles, you've got Stitched So Sweetly, the tasteful labels are also stitched, tailor-made tags are stitched, so stitched greenery. Once you start looking for stitched things, stitched leaves, stitched rectangles, they're everywhere, right? So you got instant coordination there, lots of versatility, and I love it when everything comes together so nicely. And then why did I do this page here. Oh, I was going to mention that you could also use the Tombow multi adhesive for putting on those sequins as well if you didn't want to use that fine tip pen, but I kind of already mentioned that you can get that from the catalog. Okay, I'll be back in just a couple minutes. And we're back through the magic of television. My daughter's now settled. Little 2-year-old just hollering for water, and the 5-year-old right next door sleeping like an angel through all the racket. Let's get out our last supplies now. This is a card, what looks like a cardstock base. It actually has a couple of scores in it. It's not our cardstock base. We've got a cardstock base that's just a rectangle. It doesn't open or anything. This is a fun card that we're going to create, which is a fun fold. And I've got a bunch of different options here, so I hope you like it. All the little pieces that you have. All right, so we've got a little saying that we're going to put on the inside here, and it just folds out like that. So the back side is just the card base, and then this is the part that opens. So let's go through some of the pieces here. First and foremost, did you know that Stampin' Up! Sells 2 weights of cardstock? Take a look at one of these and take a feel of one of these smaller rectangles and the larger rectangle. This is our thick cardstock, and this is our regular standard weight of cardstock. Believe it or not, this is the same weight of cardstock as our colored cardstock. It's just pressed so densely, and that's what creates this beautiful surface. This is our basic white cardstock, but it's anything but basic. If you experience any other company's cardstock, you'll know the quality when you feel it. It gives you that beautiful clear stamped image. So let's start off by putting on our designer series paper. You can choose to use the back side of whichever pattern that you have. This is another cute one. Look at that. That cat is everything, isn't it? It's so funny. Or this happy little dog. So I'm going to do, what animal do I have? Oh, fun. Yes, this is what I wanted to do for this event here, is this fun little dog. So I'm going to use these fun lights. I just think that that's the cutest pattern. So I'm going to align it so that it's equal spacing on the top, the side, and the bottom, and then wherever it ends up over here is all right because it will be covered by the edge of our cardstock here. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side, and there's no up or down to this pattern, so we can just slap it on there. And then we're going to take our piece of red. This is not just red. This is cherry cobbler. I think this is the king of all the reds, but I want to hear what you think because I've used 3 different colors of red on your projects. So do you like the cherry cobbler? Do you like the real red? Or do you like Mary Merlot, which is that little strip on this card here? I like them all for different reasons, but cherry cobbler for me is my favorite. Will you write in the comments though, please, and tell me what you like the best? Let's take a look at this and kind of do a run through in your head to make sure that it goes on correctly. Because if it goes on backwards, then it's not going to open up the same way and it's going to feel a little bit awkward for you. So what we want when we look up and down here is for it to be a reverse Z. So Z normally would be like that. This is a reverse Z. We're going to put adhesive on the back. And you could use a little bit more of an intense adhesive like our Stampin' Seal Plus. I really love the Stampin' Seal. I don't have any problems with it. So for me, it works really well with this. Okay, let's take it one more time. We're seeing a reverse Z, not a regular Z. And then we align it here up at the top and the bottom with our designer series paper. And it's just going to overhang that paper a little bit so that we don't see that edge. So do you know what I mean? On the sides, it's overhanging. Top and bottom, it's aligning. So press it on there, and then let's start putting on some of our other pieces. We're going to leave the brick for now. We're going to put that all in together. And we're going to put a piece of not Whisper White, sorry. We used to sell Whisper White, and now it's called Basic White. And this Basic White is going to go on a panel in the middle here, and a panel on the back. If you want, you can stamp it before you put it on there. I'm going to be crazy and stamp it afterwards. Feeling cocky with my skills, I guess. And then on the inside here, you might have this different pattern of paper. You might have the cute little stockings. You might even want to use the back side depending on what you like. Oh, look at this. I knew this was going to happen tonight. So my Stampin' Seal has just finished. So now I can open up the case and put in a new refill and we're ready to roll. I was waiting for it. Lasted longer than I thought it was going to. Check, check. You can say the check mark in your head if you want to, or out loud, whatever works. So that cute little, oops, put it on crooked. There we go. Don't put it on crooked. And if you do, just bring in that heat tool, right? Now to finish off this backing, I have to just take it up a notch here. I'm going to use my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. That works really well when you're using our Stampin' Blend alcohol markers, which I love to use. I'm just going to create this little present pack in the corner. I'm using 2 different stamps put on the same block so I can stamp it all at once. While I'm stamping, let's do, should I do Very Merry or Santa Paws is Coming to Town? I think I'm going to do Santa Paws. It's too cute. Cherry Cobbler ink, because I'm going matchy-matchy here, but black would work, or, you know, whatever other neutral color. There's lots of greens and everything in this too. The green that we're using is Old Olive in this designer series paper, if you wanted to totally coordinate it. Santa Paws is coming to town. Is that going to be in your head all night now? It's funny because I wake up singing kids songs in the morning and I wonder if I've been singing The Ants Go Marching One by One, Hurrah, all night in my head. This is a stage of my life and I'm sure I'll get sentimental about it someday and go, oh, I don't wake up singing kids songs anymore. Oh. But right now, it is enough to drive a person crazy. Oh dear. Especially the ants go marching. Like, that is crazy. That song is crazy. Okay, so Santa Paws is coming to town. I've let this dry for a second, and now I can bring in some of my Stampin' Blends. I've got also the Evening Evergreen, which is this kind of deeper green that's in the designer series paper too. So I'm going to do some of that. I think I'm going to do the bows with that. This looks kind of stunning, didn't it? With the stripes. So these markers come with 2 different tips. One of them is a fine tip and one of them is like a big brush tip. For something like this, I want to use the fine tip. I'm going to switch this one up a little bit though. I love these markers because they're so forgiving. If you have used these markers for a little while and then you go back to using water-based markers, you will see lines everywhere and you'll think, oh my gosh, do I not know how to color anymore? And it's just because these markers are so fantastic. You can actually tell by looking at them which one's the thick and which one's the thin, but you know, the tried and true method is always just pull open whatever cap you find first and then open the other one if you have to. Trial and error. They come in a light and a dark color, and you can keep layering them up to create really fun looks. You know what I'm going to do is I'll show you a little bit more of the blending on this bigger present here. I'll do it in red. And then I'm going to use the light Old Olive to do these fun little stripes. That looks fun, doesn't it? These blends markers are so great because you can use them along with the different colors. And what I mean by that is you can use, you know, a light green and a darker green, and the blends will start to make custom colors. They blend together. They look really great. What do you think? Should we do a fun green ribbon here? They are sold in a 2-pack. They're meant to be used as a 2-pack, but I like the different color options. by having a light one and a dark one, and I'll show you why. I'm going to start with my, I'm going to go with my dark, or my fine tip pen here. Fine tip always stays incredibly juicy for longer. So I'm going to put in like a nice deep dark shadow. This is the kind of look that I'm going to try and achieve here. So I'm starting by putting in the dark shadow. Some people start with light, then go dark, and then go light again. I find I can skip a step by just going straight to the dark. And then when I put on the light for top, then I can blend it and the alcohol will start to soften that line, and I can scribble over top of that line and it's going to soften it. So even pigment that's already on the paper itself will start to move and change. It is the most rewarding experience for coloring ever. If you are a person who doesn't like to color, I challenge you, get a set of blends, or even a couple, right? If you're a floral person, get like a flower color and a matching green to go along with it, and you'll have so much fun coloring with these. If you want to make it even more distinct, you can grab our color lifter, which is almost like a bleach, and you can kind of put in a bit of more of a highlight, and this is just going to lighten it up even more. So fun. It's also great for if you go outside the lines, you can use it almost like an eraser. Handy, handy. That one's sold singly. Okay, so I've finished that up. Now let's work on the front here. I wanted to mention this designer series paper is so fun and so cute, but as you're utilizing it, you might be sad that, you know, some of them are cut off. Some of them are cut in half. Now don't throw those away, because you can just trim around that outside and you could have that cute little dog coming in from the corner of your page, right? So don't just throw things away. You can use this paper so many different ways. I'm going to show you how I'm going to take two dogs that are each cut off. This one has its head cut off and this one has its body cut off. And I'm going to layer these two of them together to create this kind of multi-layered dog. So I'm just taking my paper snips and I'm using the, oh, you know what I wanted to do is just go around his head. I forgot the purpose of this whole thing. But I'm just using my paper snips with the broad edge of the blade, not the tip. The tip is going to give you kind of sometimes snags the paper a little bit. These ones are really good snips. They don't do it as much, but you will really notice if you have some thicker scissors. But what I'm going to do here is I don't even need his head. Poor little guy. Sorry, little guy. I'm just going to use your body. Frankenstein's monster, this beautiful Halloween dog, or this beautiful Christmas dog. Not Halloween. All right. And when I'm cutting, I'm actually pivoting the paper itself, and that's going to give a really nice, smooth cut. And I hate to say it, it only gets better the more that you practice. Practice makes perfect, even with fussy cutting. You get spoiled. I get spoiled too, guys. I don't really like fussy cutting, but when it's something like this, oh, I just have to cut these little guys out. They're so cute. So now I've got that snipped out. So I've got his head and his body, and I'm going to put those two together. And now the stocking is like really simple in comparison. And you just pivot around like that. Oops. It's a little excited there in one spot. Nobody looks at your projects as closely as you do. That's the good part, right? And they have to look a little bit handmade, otherwise people wouldn't believe that you actually created them. Is that true? I don't know. That's what I tell myself. There's just one spot here that I want to snip off. There we go. Okay, so now I've got that. I've got all my little bits and pieces. I'm going to make my fireplace. So I've got the beautiful brick already there. Can you see I've textured this gorgeous paper? This is with our 3D textured embossing folder with the brick pattern. So versatile. So I've got my fireplace exterior brick. Then I put the fireplace insert in. Now we're going to put the mantle. And I'm going to use some dimensional edge pieces, which I can make a little bit of a custom size. You could also, do a half of a dimensional. Depending on the proportion that you want to, you can make this go as low or as high as you want. You could snip off this other bracket and make it look even longer. For myself, I kind of like the proportion of lining up this bracket, and then I'm going to snip that off right here, okay? Oh, whenever I get a glance of this sweater that I'm wearing, it's like makes me a little cross-eyed. Oh boy. My daughter was just amazed by it. She was dazzled by it. As I'm changing her, she's just stroking it. I'm like, ooh, mommy's so fancy. All right, so now that I've got that, I can flip it over and work from the back side and snip off that extra bit. And that can just go away. Now it looks like we're just seeing a little hint of this fireplace. Now we got to do dimensionals on the back side here. I'm going to do, since I'm dimensionalizing, that's a word, his head, I am going to leave his body and just glue that on with my seal. Oh no, I have two dimensionals that went together. I don't have time for that right now. That never happens. Here we go. So let's put our cute little stocking hanging from the mantle. I just kind of tuck it up in behind there a little bit. And now I can put this on here so that I can put my dog exactly where I want him to be. You could put this on with dimensionals if you wanted to, or if you want to be mailing it for cheaper, then just glue it on with some Stampin' Seal. Seal Plus would work too. All right, let's take a look. Take our little lion's mane. He's got a little cute little wreath around him, and he's just going to lay here down at the bottom. Oh, it's so great. It's so cute. So I'm going to make sure I'm not going to put too much adhesive on his rear end, which is sticking over, but I am going to put adhesive here where he's kind of sprawled out, relaxing. Maybe there's a fire in there. Maybe you want to be creative. The pastels work so great. We've got new pastels that are really visible when you use them on black, and you could create a fire in there if you wanted to have your pet just, lounging by the fire. But isn't that cute? A little fun fold, easy peasy. And with this designer series paper, you've got loads of options for the different characters that you could put on there. All right, last but not least, let's talk about where these items come from in the catalog. Put that to the side there. So starting in our mini catalog, we've got this die here, the little tag. That stitch tag is coming from our Pretty Pillow Box dies. A great little pack. And then our paper, which we have to talk about. I've used this stamp set as well, the Sweet Little Stockings, which is really adorable and quite versatile. Oops, I got a rogue stocking there. There we go. So the Sweet Little Stockings, you can have these little pets, and you can make them into stocking pets if you wanted to. You could also just make a card with those cute little guys peeking over the edge. Wouldn't that be adorable? And you can always say sending lots of love for all different kinds of occasions. That's perfect for Valentine's Day too, right? Peace, joy, and kisses. So cute for you, for everything, right? Very merry. And then this is great too. You've got the to and the from. And the stockings, which coordinate with the dies. Here, we already talked about these dies tonight because this tag we used on the previous card. But this is great because you can make the stockings, and then you've also got these little like borders. So this would be the top edge of the stocking, and this would be like the heel of the boot and the toe, right? You can create these little accents and build them up. And you can see these outlines here actually cut out the hamster, the cat, and the dog. So hamster, cat, dog. You've got little bows for the presents and the presents themselves. And holly leaves and berries. Another great little kind of flag tag there. Again, bundle and save 10%. In this case is not the best deal. 50% off these dies are. So they're only $21 in Canada. And the sweet little stockings stamp set coordinates with them. You can just get that at the full price. Oh, I don't think I told you on the last card. I got caught up with the stocking dies. But the Pool Party Striped Grosgrain ribbon is that beautiful ribbon that we used on the last card. It's 10% off right now, only $8.55 for 10 yards. Well, let's talk about this designer series paper, which is also being discontinued. I hope it's still available because I want you guys all to have a pack of it. This sheet here is just so cute. And then, of course, the back sides are a little bit more like graphic. The front sides, you've got all these cute little characters. You've got the cute cat in the box and the happy little dog. And then you've got the miserable cat and this happy little puppy. You've even got a bird. Over here you've got the little corgi wearing a sweater and the cat with the ornaments and even a fish with little Christmas tree decorations in there. Again, the back side, we've got those nice stripes. Which other ones did we not use? I think I ran out of some of them here. I don't have all of them full size anymore. Let's see. Oh, here we go. That's like the kind of sweater looking backside of it. All my bits and pieces. I love keeping all my bits and pieces for packs like that anyways, because I find I just keep going back to them and you can use those little scraps. Now I wanted to talk to you about the Stampin Blends. On page 122 and 123 of your annual catalog, you can see all of the different colors that these blends come in. It's not every single color, but it gives you such a wonderful offering of colors that are different and that can be put together. And they, again, are going to give you the most amazing coloring experience. You feel like a master when you're using them. And to be honest, this is what I did use when it was a product like this, but they're called like Copic markers. And I used them when I was in architecture and we were doing drafting and exterior renderings. So I have a set of non-Stampin' Up! Colors that are all alcohol based too. And I want to tell you, these are a good deal for a set of 2 for $12, and they last a lot longer than my architectural ones did too. So the quality on these is just incredible. And of course the coordination, you can't go wrong with that. Why did I want to? Oh, I wanted to show you this page here because of the Simply Scoring tool. This is a big plate. It's 12 inches by 12 inches. It's got a ruler on there and it's got all these score lines. And that's how I created this great little tri-fold section. So giving the nice score lines there, make it perfectly foldable, and it gives some interest to your cards. You can also use the scoring blade on your cutting tool, so you can use either of those. I really though like the Simply Scored cutting tool for mass producing. It's really easy to use. It's got these little markers on there and then you can mark off exactly where you want to make the scores, and so every time you come back to it you don't have to measure like 2 3/4. You can just go like boom boom, very quick and easy. The Brick and Mortar 3D embossing folder is a winner for every occasion. It's 6 inches by 6 inches, so it fits through a big boss. And so you can put in horizontal card fronts and vertical card fronts. Or in this case, I would put through 2 of these at a time and just crank them through and get it done. So it means that you get that beautiful texture on there, and you don't have to do any stamping, right? It's great. Page 161, this little mantle ledge, did you guys notice where that came from? I bet some of you guessed. The stocking is back. Get out of here. Okay, these are our window dies, and they have a coordinating stamp set that goes along with it, but they're so much fun because I'm not sure if you noticed that mantle actually has a texture, and that's because the die itself has a texture. So when you crank it through, it impresses and embosses as well as cutting out. And it does that with these shutters and the window frame as well. This has so many fun elements, and it goes with the stamp set so perfectly. You can still bundle and save 10% with that, so that's a great value. And I know that you're going to have lots of fun playing with different scenes of what you could see out of a window. Wouldn't that be great? Or even into a window, right? How nice would it be to have like a beautiful Christmas tree, and it's like you're looking from the outside in, and there's this warm Christmassy glow. Imagine all the kinds of things that you could do with that. Okay, you guys, we did it. No technical issues, really. We had one interruption of a baby, but that happens sometimes. And we did it. I'm not going to tell you what time I'm finishing, but you guys know math, and you can figure out what time I started at and what time I finished at. But I still have a full cup of tea here, so I'm going to cheers you. Cheers. It's not very warm anymore, but I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and your entire family, from me and my entire family, and thank you for spending this time with me. I hope that you've enjoyed your Christmas crafting experience. I hope that you will join me in the new year as well. We've got celebrations starting in January. It's always our biggest special of the year, where you can receive free product for every $60 order increment. And this product is not just catalog product, it's exclusive product that's never available for purchase from Stampin' Up! And it's so much fun. I am obsessed with the new mini catalog. So if you don't have a copy yet, just reach out to me. I just received them the other day, so I'm putting stickers on them and they're going to be ready to roll right away here. So let me know if you want a copy. I'd be happy to get one to you or have you pick it up. And if you want a set of these club cards as well, you can collect those from my house, or I can mail them anywhere in Canada. Again, free with a minimum $35 order, or you can purchase them for $20. So thank you again, a million times thank you. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and we'll hope to stamp with you soon.